At first, I thought my scholarship search was a failure because I applied to all of the biggest scholarships, right? The Bill Gates scholarship, Amazon Future Engineer scholarship, Ronald Reagan, Coca-Cola, all of those big scholarships and a bunch of little ones as well. And I got none of them. It was crazy. It was all rejections. But I recently did get informed from Google that I got a scholarship, and it's called the Google Generation Scholarship. And in this video, I will try to explain what I did and what you guys can do so you guys can get the scholarship as well. So to explain what I did, I'm just going to read my essays because I don't know how else to explain how I got in. I believe there was only the essays portion. If there was ever like an activities list, it would be the same as the ones that I applied to Northwestern. So you can just go ahead and check that out somewhere in the channel. Gianj knows why I got in. He's just not willing to say. Nico, do you know what he's... I don't understand what he's talking about. Okay, first essay. It's asking, please give us an example of how you exhibited leadership, explain what you were trying to achieve, your role, how you influence others, and the impact as a result of your actions. Now, for this one, you see, there's a 500 word limit, but also I'm very lazy, so essentially what I did was I got my Common App essay and I just shortened it to 500 words. Because that's essentially what this question is asking, like your leadership and how you influence others, and that's just my Common App essay, which I also read that in my channel, so you guys could go watch that video, but I'm not going to read it here because it's going to take too long. Second question, what is a significant challenge that impacts historically excluded groups in the field of technology, and what do you believe is the root cause of the challenge? What actions have you taken to address this challenge? I just BS this question. I do not understand this question, not really. It's like, what is the significant challenge that impacts historically excluded groups? The only challenge is the fact that there aren't as many opportunities. How am I supposed to write about that? Like, I can't... So what I did was I made like a compilation of different scenarios that I had experienced that kind of related to it, helping historically excluded groups. But let me just read it. So there are several scenarios in which I've aided historically excluded groups in the field of technology, but the root of the challenge isn't only physically obtaining computers or special devices to work on projects. The root cause is not having enough peer and motivational support from their community to pursue the field of technology. See? So I essentially just twisted the question to fit my needs because I had personally different experiences than what the question is asking. I personally didn't really have any sort of project that I did to help historically excluded groups besides from Study Bubbly, but that's not really historically excluded groups. That's just people who need help, teenagers in high school who need AP help in general. So I continued on by saying this cannot be applied to the entirety of groups and only to the select few that I encountered, again, just so I'm not generalizing. So I first talked about this camp called NHI that I attended. I did the condom challenge in the bathroom with my roommate, by the way, and it was a great experience. Here I said I encouraged my team to make a video just to test our waters, and we were extremely satisfied with the video we made. They were not. The group was pissed off. I was extremely satisfied with the video, kind of. In essence, though, the video that we made was trying to get people who identify as Hispanic to join the program. So maybe, I'm assuming it works in this scenario, that's why I put it here. But moving on to the next paragraph, I said when the pandemic hit, I had a lot more difficulty reaching out to my community. Thus, I developed the online nonprofit mentioned in the essay above. Study Bubbly intends to help the low income and has attracted many historically excluded groups. See? Something similar to that, because my intention was not to help historically excluded groups. Like, that sounds horrible. But in helping the low income groups, there are some historically excluded groups who might be attracted to the program. I'm just saying that based on our statistics and people in the server. But oh no, what did I write? Although some of these historically excluded students were often branded as tech gurus or in other areas of technological fields, the diversity of our members proved otherwise. We did our best to help those who were willing to become video editors or digital graphic designers, skill sets that we can teach others. Creating a community like Study Bubbly doesn't only encompass work with nonprofits and education, it's also making a social scene where this is acceptable. Back at my former school, many historically excluded individuals wanted to become social media influencers and love to dance. I leave encouraging comments when they post on social media. I try to get those who I know to do the same thing, as in a way showering them with compliments. With everything anyone does, it takes time to learn, and when you're in a positive community, this process is accelerated. Essentially, TLDR, I made a nerdy community. But yeah, somehow it's still tied into my thesis and saying like the problem is that there's not enough pure motivational support, right? In the first paragraph, I did talk about how I emotionally, logically, whatever, supported my group, encouraged them to try something new. Second paragraph, I explained how I helped my community or my local/national community, since it is an online program. And number 3, to the last paragraph. So back when I was in school, I came back to the classroom to find a classmate who was behind a work. They're looking through my past homework, taking pictures. I made him delete it, but I was willing to help him understand concepts that they had trouble with. Helping my classmate doesn't encompass throwing away academic integrity and encouraging him to helping my classmate doesn't encompass throwing away academic integrity. And encouraging him is what I believe is the most effective and helpful method that I can accomplish with my abilities. So yeah, this last sentence I just threw in because I thought it would be very interesting if I can just like kind of draw a line in the sand saying, hey, I'm still a goody two shoes. I still preserve academic integrity, even though I still help those historically excluded groups in the field of technology. Hold on. Oh no. Wait, no, I don't think I even answered the question because it says what significant challenge do they face in the field of technology, and I essentially just said the challenge isn't only physically obtaining computers but also not having enough peer motivational support. And throughout the essay, like I just like kind of implied that the whole issue isn't with them not having like the devices or the computers or not having the skills to do it, it's not having the community to do it. Like that was my whole argument. So I don't know if that answers the question, but since I was accepted and I got the money, I guess this is. So yeah, I somehow twisted the question to fit my needs. But yeah, I now looking at it, I truly do believe that like a lot of people that I know of, it's not like they don't have computers, right? And it's not like they don't have the means to learn this. There's YouTube, there's a whole bunch of free courses online. It's just there isn't this motivational like community that's there to like support them and to help them. Okay, so moving on to the third essay, describe any financial circumstances affecting your need for a scholarship. In your answer, make sure to describe any obstacles you had to overcome to get to where you are today. Gianja's medical bill is like sky high. Essentially, I just talked about being low income. I talked about my dad working in Mexico, whatever, my house. I just put in a bunch of things that I thought maybe would be relevant, because it's like, why do you need the scholarship? You can't really respond because you're like, I just need the money. Like I need money to pay for college. What do you mean? Why do I need the scholarship? Well, besides from talking about the stuff that is like a problem, like in my house or whatever, I did talk about some things that I have done to try to overcome these, right? So I said that I had to self-learn coding, right? First block coding or simple Scratch, and then moving on to C, and then Python and Java, Swift, C#, JavaScript, whatever recent coding languages that I learned from the AI camp that I just attended, which you should go watch that video because there are not enough people watching that video. But I then moved on to academics and talked about how some subjects I self-studied, for example, some AP subjects, and I've gotten like 4s and 5s on those. I've taken 8 AP exams in the span of 3 years, and I also said I didn't have that many resources to study for my ACT test. For example, like I couldn't hire tutors to tutor me. I had to self-study with like a book. It's a problem. And then in the last paragraph, I mentioned that with this money, I would be able to further expand my research for the visually impaired, because this is my passion project. And if you haven't watched the video on my stats, you should go watch it and come back to this video. And I was able to tie my passion project into this again. So just to show that I can contribute to others once I get the scholarship money. Scholarships are very interesting, right? But there's some things we need to outline. Number 1, how do you find scholarships, which is frankly the hardest thing in the whole process. And number 2, how to accept defeat. If you have trouble finding scholarships, like there are websites like Unigo or like I don't even know if that's a website, but there's some websites that have like, oh, you just need to type in your name, your email, and then you'll have a free lottery draw or something like that. I don't do those. I mean, you can try to do those, but you won't get any money, just saying. I've had some scholarships books over here that I've bought and I've applied to those scholarships and I got none of them. I just want to say that if you want to apply for scholarships, aim big. get the bigger scholarships. I mean, you can also aim for the smaller scholarships, but it's like, yeah, because there's less competition, number one. But number two, you're already applying to a bunch of colleges, and if you're not applying to a bunch of colleges, then apply to a bunch of scholarships. But I just want to say that it's very difficult to get those scholarships, like very, very difficult. However, even with this all finished now, I need to tell you something very interesting if you stuck to this point in the video, and that scholarships do not have that big of an impact. Recently, I just submitted my financial aid report updated to my college, and they told me that, well, my financial aid got reduced because I got this scholarship, and essentially, I don't want to get into too much details, but I just want to say they took a majority chunk out of my scholarship, so I still had a net gain, but so yeah, if you didn't get scholarships and you feel like you need scholarships very badly, don't panic. There's financial aid at your college. Of course, if it's a private college, you will have more money. If it's a state college, you'll have less money. That's just kind of how colleges work. In general, I don't know, there may be exceptions. But hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully somehow you learned what I did right, what I did wrong, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you don't subscribe, or subscribe actually. I really need subscribers. Please subscribe. Bye!